One thing that caught my attention right about the stories you telling me is it's always somebody like you or somebody around that's stopping Tupac before he won't get into a situation. Do you feel like Tupac was missing that when he was on death row? Like kind of like when he got into the incident with Orlando. It was nobody like you around to stop Pac.
You know what? That's what I believe. Like I said, I wasn't around. I was never around him, so I don't know who. But from what I understand, you know what I mean. There wasn't a person to try to convince him to stop. They all wanted to go just as bad as he wanted to go, which is always dangerous, right? There's no cool head, and that's probably you know what I always have. Always that's what I have the biggest problem with that ending situation because I always wonder who's over there talking sense. Because I know he had because even at the end, because even Big Sight used to be the voice of reason a lot of times, and at the end he wasn't even around. You know what I mean? So and I'm sure um, the Outlaws they probably would have wanted to be that right, but they were younger, so he was over them. He didn't have a big homie that was the voice of reason. You know, the Outlaws they couldn't tell him what he needed to do or put their foot down and say we're not doing it. They just like, man, if this is what we're doing, they rolling. They trying to make sure he's safe, right? I'm sure, but they didn't. I don't know who was the person that was considered or who was deemed or who even thought could be the person that could, because it should have been Suge, right? Because Suge always said that was my little brother, and I would never put my little brother in danger. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I always wonder: who was the person who was telling them, who was speaking sense? It just seemed like it was always just recklessness, and Pop could be talked to because he would be mad, he would cuss, but he would still listen to us. You know, whether it was Shot, Atron, Layla, Big Psych, myself, uh, even Ray Love, Mo Preem. I don't know. It just feels like there was that voice wasn't there at the end.